It's March 5th, 2023. This is Darcy's Corner. Um, Not sure what I'm going to say in this one. Probably better off if I don't post it when I get rambly like this. I'm both depressed and like happy at the same time, I guess, which is strange. Um, I didn't go to church today. Usually I go to church on Sundays. It's a Sunday. And it's not because I don't feel welcome at church, and it's not because I don't enjoy going. I am feeling depressed, and I just don't know that I want to go there at the moment and be depressed there and like spread the lack of joy. And I use a lot of church analogies when I'm analyzing my life, and the one that I use the most is the garden, which those of you who aren't familiar with it, basically it just describes humanity and the world as a garden, and there's good parts of the garden and bad parts of the garden, and essentially, if you happen to be fortunate enough to live in North America, in Canada in particular, uh, well, Canada and the U.S., but I would say more Canada, you're in what's called the good part of the garden. But really, the good part of the garden just refers to pretty much any first world nation where you have freedoms to be yourself and express yourself and live your life more or less as you choose. And, you know, I'm in the good part of the garden. I have all sorts of options and choices legally and things that I can go do. And yet, I feel so very restricted all the time. I feel so held back by this shell that is me. I put on makeup last night and went out and had a good time, but I didn't really do anything too wild. I did go to 3 different bars uh, and one political event, and I had good company at all of them. But I was still alone throughout, and I'm still alone now. And if I were to have gone to church this morning, I would have gone to church alone and come home to myself and my dog. I have a roommate. He's a nice enough guy. Um, if he pops out, I'll cut this short because that'll be awkward. He's in his room. Usually he's in his room, which is fine. But the point to this whining session is that I'm always alone at the end of the day, and it doesn't feel like there's anything I can do to change that situation. Maybe if I were seen as a woman, or if I went back to being seen as a man, maybe I could find another person, but I don't know. The odds just don't seem to be in my favor. The first political thing I went to, which was the beginning of my night last night, was fine, and I got to be around somewhat like-minded people anyway, and I know that I'm in a relatively safe environment for myself to be there. And that's not always the case with places where I go, but I figured there I'd be safe. And I felt safe, I felt secure, but I still don't know how to move that into anything that I want, other than, it does give me more community. But, I can't express an interest in somebody without offending them or potentially offending them. And I wouldn't even know who to express an interest in anyways. And I'm such a wallflower when it comes to that stuff because I'm so afraid of offending people and not being welcome or making myself unwelcome by saying or doing something. So I try to say and do as little as possible, but I have a big mouth, so I can't stop myself from talking. And I don't know. Anyway, it went well. The political thing did. Met some really interesting people that I liked. Um, and then I went and sang at my usual hangout spot where I sing. And then I got invited to a couple other things, but I wasn't really invited. I mean, I was, but basically I was just the sober person who could drive. And so I went, and I'm with these millennials and these Gen Zers, and I'm watching them shake their groove thing, and I'm just going, I guess I missed my chance to do that. And I just feel like the nerdy tag along who's just there because I'm useful, not because anybody really wants me there. And not that anybody was being rude to me or didn't per se want me there, but nobody was wanting to dance with me or, be all over me or want me to try and be all over them, which is fine. It's just reminds me how lonely I am and how I don't really have choices or options. Whenever I try to meet people online, oh yes, we definitely want to meet, we want to get there, and then they never really materialize. Or if they do, they're so stupid or judgmental of my situation. It's like, yeah, you're not in a position really to tell me how to do that, but I could even forgive that if they would still show up, but they wouldn't. So it's like, well, anyway. So it's hard not to be depressed. Right now, I still have the makeup on my face from last night because I didn't take it off. I was going to shave it off this morning. It's another reason why I didn't go to church. I just didn't get up early enough to go through the effort of taking everything off and putting it all back on again. I can't skip that step because the 5 o'clock shadow will come through quite shortly. Anyway, I am grateful that I'm in the good part of the garden, that I am relatively protected, that I have all sorts of social supports, and people are like, oh, we love you and come spend time with our place and come visit us. And that is marvelous, by the way. I really appreciate that, but it's not the same as having the option of dating somebody, which I just don't have. And it is so very depressing. But I know that I could be in Russia or Ukraine, or I could be in Afghanistan or Saudi Arabia, and people would come kill me. I could be in the United States, and in any number of those states, Americans may be made refugees in their own country because they should be exterminated, because transgenderism needs to be exterminated. That's like saying left-handed people need to be exterminated, or people with green eyes need to be exterminated. It's the same thing. It is a condition in many ways, it is a disability, that being in the wrong body for your gender, or not wanting either gender. Like, yes, it disables you. It cripples your mind. Like, it hurts. Um, and I don't know how to explain it. I tried to explain it on this channel several times, and there are people who probably explain it better than I can. But it's an actual thing. Um, Now, we're disabled in the same way that colorblind people are disabled. Colorblind people can still see, they can still function, but certain things they can't do, like be electricians, um, because that impairment prevents them from being an electrician. But this isn't an impairment in that same way. It's its own thing, but it is a condition, and it's easily treatable for most of us, especially if we start treating it as children. And that's just the way it has to be. You can't eliminate us from society. It's it's very disheartening to see so many people get on the bandwagon. Anyway, but it is very heartening. It's very heartwarming to have the support that I have of my local community and my church members and my actual friends and people I've met. That part is good, that they love me as a person, but I still can't date anybody. Because then, oh no, they might think you're gay. Everybody thinks I'm gay, whether I am or not. It's a very, so far, it's a very lonely life. And I'm very sad that I haven't been able to move past this sooner. Anyway, sorry Darci's going such a bummer today. I'm just not feeling very upbeat.